If you've been wishing for deeper trust and authenticity in your relationships, looking for better communication skills with your partner, we hope that you'll join us for our latest course, 10 Essential Skills to Building Stronger and Healthier Relationships.
Yeah. Everything that Walker and I do is something that we put energy into, creating it thoughtfully and intentionally. We're very curious about what might be most helpful for people in building healthier skills in relationship. We recognize it's something that we all need to practice time and time again, and know that we're not just talking about intimate partners in this course. We're talking about family, coworkers, friends. We really want to walk through this process of building healthier relationship in all areas of our life. And we hope that you consider joining us. Enrollment opens February 1st, launching March 20th, first day of spring, and the first day of our retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.
Thank you.
My Inner Knowing, empowering you to find your compass for the journey. We are dedicated to supporting you to rediscover and trust your natural ability to navigate life each day by sharing insight and experience through the lens of two professional communicators and their guests. We intend to prompt internal inquiry that supports all those willing to explore a unique path.
Well, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to, but I want to because I know it's good for a relationship. Have a conversation about a fight we had just over the weekend.
Yeah.
Are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay. We're complex and we're messy, and despite all the personal work we do and everything else, sometimes we can't hold it.
Yeah.
And I think the positive part is being able to, because we've already discussed it and worked through some of it, but there's more for me. So I want to have one of those hard conversations.
Yeah.
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 It's hard to talk about, failings. But again, it's not, the failing would be to have had the fight and then just brush it under the rug.
Agreed. Agreed.
Otherwise, it's just another opportunity for growth and hopefully closeness.
Mm.
This is what I want.
Yeah.
I want to do it well. I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah. So I'll set the stage, I guess. Was it Friday night?
I think
Or was
so.
it Saturday?
It was Friday.
Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so I hadn't started working on the bathroom yet, right?
No.
I think we were just tired and decided we'd do the bathroom work starting on Saturday and Sunday.
We both had a long day.
Oh, that's right. I was in depositions all day.
You were in deposition. I was in therapy and working all day.
Yeah.
I mean, my personal therapy and working all day.
Yeah. I was detoxing from the attorney stuff. So it was getting close to bedtime. We were both really tired, but so you're in the bedroom. I think you'd had pulled a load of laundry from the dryer and you were folding clothes on the bed, I think.
I was folding clothes.
Okay. Anyway, so I come in the bedroom and I head over towards my side of the bed. We don't live together full time.
Right.
So I get to come over on the weekends, and that's just the way things are given our child situation, right? And so I get over there and there's, and what's so funny is it wasn't even mine, but I believed it was mine. And I think I share pretty well with you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that
Oh,
most
yeah.
of the
Oh,
time?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
And you do too.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time.
Not baked goods.
I wasn't going to say it, but
That's
you
okay.
did. I love that
You
about
do
you,
not
though.
give my croissant. Yeah.
I love it about you. Well, you share, but it's not like, a bite for you, hand it over, which is it's so funny. I actually like it.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to know something we really, really enjoy, right? If it was a bowl of ice cream, I might not share so well. I don't know that I've ever shared ice cream with you. Like, here's a bite. Well, actually, we have in the car.
Yeah, recently, because I haven't been ordering as much ice cream when we've had it. And so I did ask you recently, and you did share.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's what it was about. Well, I'm pretty sure, actually. I'm 100% sure, actually. But I did believe it was mine.
Yes.
And the part that stuck. So anyway, the plug and the super long charging cord for my phone. So because we get in bed and we'll usually, we've already been talking through the evening. So we usually both pick up our phones and just kind of settled in, showing each other reels that are funny. And,
Right.
you show me funny people and I show you cute animals doing funny things. And it's nice.
Yeah, it is.
I wouldn't want to be lost like that all night.
Yeah.
But it is fun. And I do like the sharing part because it just feels like, at least we're doing something together.
Yeah.
So anyway, the charging cord was gone.
Yes.
And it's been in the same socket
Yes.
to me for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was gone.
Yes.
And so, and you'll have to, I don't know the exact words, but I used a tone with you. It's like, where's my charging cord?
Yeah.
Or maybe even what did you do with my charging cord? But I think I said where. Because I thought maybe somebody else took it. And this is my recall. I don't know that maybe the details are important. So if you need to say, no, that's not exactly how it happened, that's good. So I used an attitude. And, normally that sort of thing I've gotten beyond that a lot. But I want to talk to you about why. And we've talked about it a little bit. But in any event, you responded by saying, I took it to charge my iPad. It's downstairs. You can go get it. And I laughed, not in a kind way, because in my mind, I got all up in the feels about, wait a minute, you took my cord that's been there for 2 years. That's my side of the room. And you took it downstairs and you're giving me permission to go get it.
Yeah.
So all up in ego and, whatever. I mean, we're going to get there. What I believe was the underlying piece, right? And so you didn't like the laugh, didn't appreciate the tone of the laugh either. And you're like, why are you laughing? And it just started to slam dance from there. I wasn't particularly worked up. I was just being snarky, I think. But maybe I was more worked up than I thought. And so you got quiet. This is my observation. You got quiet, my experience. And, I knew you were mad and you're folding clothes harder. You know how that goes? So anyway, I go ahead and get in bed, and I pick up my phone and I'm looking at the phone, like thinking, and then you disappear and then you come back in and you've got the charging cord and the plug and you plug it in and kind of, flick the cord at me. And then we were on. And I probably said something that we've recommended in our, course modules. Yeah, that's probably these things aren't helpful, or at least, we've talked about doing a segment on relationship killers, and I probably was like, I don't know why you're being so, and I said this more than once, why are you being so sensitive about a phone cord? You know, um, and I don't remember. You didn't like it. Our voices got raised. And then I was the first one to curse, and I didn't curse you, but I said, I don't need your effing permission, to go get a cord that is mine, and you moved. And I'm laughing at myself now because the mind part was part of it, I guess, because I kept saying it. And it turns out that it was yours. And I don't know if you told me that in the moment. I think you did, yelling, and since we've talked, I understand, it's hard enough to get down to go use the elliptical, something that you've started wanting to do. And now I know that your iPad doesn't hold a charge, so it's got to be plugged in the whole time. And that when you took it, were contemplating ordering one. It just hadn't happened yet, all that stuff. And so, a part of me was just like, what the hell? Why are we fighting over this cord? But you were really upset too. And I want to know more about that, because I don't know that we've ever really gotten to it, but there was an underlying current going on that I don't think we've talked through. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. There's more to share, always.
Okay. So do you want to share or want me to share, since I've been doing all the talking? Maybe there's corrections too, because maybe I said things differently than I remember, because in the midst of all that, you're like, you don't even know what you said.
Yeah.
So what did I say?
Well, what I would start off with, when you asked me at the beginning if I was okay if we talked about this, and I said yes, I don't want it to come across that it doesn't make me anxious, or that I don't feel it in my body, right? It's just, I'm always going to say yes to having the hard conversation.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's easy, and it doesn't mean that it won't be uncomfortable. So I wanted to be clear about that. Do you want me to share from my perspective from the beginning? Is that what would be helpful, or do you want me to?
No, if I had, because I got upset, didn't register what I said, or how I said it.
Yeah.
That it would probably be helpful to see that part of me if you want to share it. So
Sure. So, for me, I recognize that we don't remember as much as we think we remember. I'm really clear, and I talk about that in session all the time. Well, as best as I recall, or this may not be what you said, but I think this is, what I took away from it. So I'm really thoughtful and careful about that part, because we can think we remember, and a lot of us don't.
sure.
So, so I don't know that I could tell you really the words as much as what I observed in myself and you. I mean, I do remember, and I need to do it this way because I need to walk through the process of it. I'm a very process oriented person, and so it's hard for me, as you know, to just step into the middle of something. The way my brain works is I have to go through the process.
Okay.
So yes, I was in the bedroom. I was folding clothes. You came in. You made the comment about the cord, and I said, "Yeah, I took it downstairs. You can go get it." And for me, it was like no attitude. It was, I'm just folding clothes. If you want to go get it, go get it. I don't know how much charge your phone has. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, there was nothing in me that was like being directive. I was just saying, you can go get it. It's no big deal. So when you had the response of whatever it was you said, I don't remember, something about, I don't need your permission, then that's when I was like,
Yes, I recall that.
You do. And then I was like, oh, okay, I don't know what this is about. But if he wants the cord, he knows where the cord is. I'm just going to keep folding laundry. And then for me, because of the way that, my brain works, then you just got into bed. And I was like, oh, so he's not going to go get the phone charging cord. Okay, so then this is again how I think. I think, what does this look like tomorrow when he doesn't have his phone charged because he didn't go downstairs to get the charging cord? That's where I go.
What did you think it was going to look like?
That you'd be grumpy tomorrow because your phone wasn't charged. And for me, I'm like, we can all have a bad day and we're tired and whatever, but I don't want to drag it over into the next day. And so I went down and got the cord, and I don't remember what the look on your face was when I came back in with the cord, but whatever that was, I don't know. I just remember thinking, well, that wasn't helpful. And then that's when I plugged it in and flipped the cord at you. So, yeah. So for me, it was, the thought process was, I'm folding clothes. I don't even know why we're here other than we're tired. Yeah, up to that point, I can tell you up to that point. So was that helpful?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the midst of it, I'm saying, I'm not doing this. I am not doing this.
Right.
And I wanted to run.
Yeah.
So, because when you flick the cord, I was like, are you really that mad?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
yes.
Darn tootin' right I am.
Yes,
and then it was on, right?
Right.
So anyway, I kept saying that, and you're like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I even responded.
No.
I think I just said it again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started packing up my stuff.
Right.
And so I got to the laundry room because I had clothes in the dryer that weren't dry and clothes in the washer that were wet.
Yeah.
But, threw those in my little duffel bag thing. And you came in, and what I remember you saying is, I don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines. And you're looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't blinking very much. That's what I noticed. And I'm not talking because I'm I'm out of here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm running.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything, I think, for the rest of the night. But, so you said, I don't want this. And then you said, if I made you feel unsafe, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you said. Maybe you'll recall it differently. But in any event, and I remember just continuing to look at you, and I was trying to stare at you, like look into your eyes, because I didn't think you were blinking much. So talk about going into your inner child. But in any event, and sometimes if we get that far along, we're both in teenager mode for the most part. You were not in teenager mode at that point, but I felt like maybe part of you was trying to intimidate me with the stare, This is everything that's going on in my mind. So I'm trying to do it back. And what I realized, so instead of looking you in the middle of the nose, or both eyes trying, because you know how you do sometimes when you start paying attention, it's odd. So I'm trying to focus on your right eye, right? But what I could feel was, and I'm guessing because you're so observant, this, but my eyes kept doing that. And I'm sure that there's a, psychological reason behind that. You can share it with me. So after, I don't know, what was it? A minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? I don't know how long it was. It was quite a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't 3 minutes, but something seemed like a long time. I turned around and I put the clothes back in the dryer and the clothes back in the washer, started the dryer, and then just walked past you. And the most I could muster at that point, and I wanted to be able to have the strength to try to talk it out then, but all I had was staying. That was the most I could do.
Yeah.
So got in bed, and I don't know how you laid there, but my back was to you. And I was thinking, and I couldn't go to sleep for quite a while, but what I was thinking was of that picture from the, what is that? The Burning Man.
Right. Inner child.
Yeah. Where the two people are sitting with their backs to each other, angry or upset, and their little children are facing each other and touching hands. And so that came to mind, but I was just too flooded.
Yeah.
Too tired. So I don't think we really talked about it until like 9:30. So we had a podcast interview.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
So we met over here, and then we kind of hashed out a little bit. And then afterwards, the working together to do that professionally and well, and be kind and welcoming to our guest, I think helped put our energy back together. And then we discussed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was the rest of it from your perspective?
Sure. So you had gone down. Oh, so you went downstairs to put the cord back on my iPad, right? And so
I'll show you.
That's right.
Oh, I forgot that part. What's coming next? Yeah.
And
I did speak.
You did.
Dang it.
And so when you were coming upstairs, I think I said something like, what's really going on for you, or what are you not saying, or something like that. And then we were both in the living room, and the lights weren't on. I mean, the living room's pretty bright anyway, but the lights weren't on. And I was sharing my frustration about, why are we here in this place? Why has it gotten to this place? And I remember, like, I had my hands in front of me and I was doing this,
yeah, you came close.
You said, don't raise your hand at me. And I'm like, raise my hand at you.
Yeah.
And so that was really what surprised me, was, what I know about you is that was real. You weren't doing that to manipulate me, right?
No.
And so I knew that it was a real reaction. I could feel it in your body. I could see it on your face. And then you went back into the laundry room, and then that's when I came in and said, if I made you feel unsafe, I'm sorry. I don't want to do things that trigger your trauma. And I didn't mean to, but I'm very aware that that's what happened. And I was maintaining eye contact, obviously in no way intimidating, because that's not me, but it was really just like, I'm serious. Like, what I'm sharing with you is genuine, but that reaction that you had to me using my hands to talk was what shifted, me out of the frustrated place. I mean, I was out of it mostly by the time you went downstairs, because I thought it was funny that you went in to plug in my charging cord again.
Wasn't going to take from you.
I know. And you said that I'm not going to take. Oh, you're right. Because I said, babe, I was going to order another cord because now that I'm going to start doing the elliptical in the morning, I meant to order one and I forgot. And you were like, if you order
That was the last thing I said before going to sleep.
Right.
If you order that.
If you order that, I'm going to throw it away.
Yep.
So I was like, well, whatever. So I knew you were doing all that you could to not leave, because the leaving is what you learned. It was your way of surviving. And so the reality is I was proud of you that you stayed, even if you couldn't have the conversation. And when you said that, it's not that it hurt me. I'm not going to take from you. And I was like, that's just not our relationship. And so I know that, when you're saying some things like that, that you're not talking to me, that it's something else it's triggering something else, because we do share. We give each other a lot. So anyway, yeah, I laid there for a while. I fell asleep at some point. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I heard you snore, and I was like, of course she fell asleep.
Yeah.
Harumph.
Right.
Are you?
Yeah. Of course.
Because I don't want to interrupt your process.
Yeah.
When you made the statement about, I don't want to trigger your trauma,
Mm-hmm.
In that moment,
Mm-hmm.
It felt condescending to me. Like, oh, you're broken, honey.
Mm. Yeah.
And I mean, part of that, I mean, it's like you can have two sides working once or 15, whatever. It's just like part of me knew that you meant it.
Right.
But another part was just like, oh, so I'm broken because I didn't like something you did.
Yeah.
So, part of what we haven't discussed is, part of me was feeling like, I was telling myself that when I tell you that I don't like something that you did, that you get angry, like overly angry. And I don't know where that came from, but in the midst of it all, I was just like, so I can't tell you that I don't like something you did. Now, in a more productive, less tonal way, maybe, but anyway, that's there too.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it other than it's something from the past, is what I think. Or maybe you don't like it but I don't criticize you very often.
No, it's the tone. I don't care if you give me feedback about something that I did. No, it's facial expressions.
Sure.
And tone of voice, for sure.
Apparently, I use a lot of facial expression when I'm dissatisfied, and you really pick up on it. More than I mean, it's not like I'm trying to squeeze my face a particular way. It just happens.
Right.
But
no,
it's a big deal to you.
It's very, yeah. Yeah. Because if you come up to me and you're like, hey, babe, I don't like it when you do that. I'm like, okay. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But the facial expressions and the tone, for me, it's I mean, it's interesting because when I think, what is it? Some of it is, feeling not seen. I work hard, and I am thoughtful and I am generous. And so when, you were so upset about the cord, I literally was just like, well, I was going to buy one. And I just didn't, like, it was just a busy week, and it was. And so it was like you not being able to see me, you know, I think is really difficult for me. Yeah. Like you're accusing me of, taking from you, that I didn't do it perfectly,
Yeah.
that I wasn't trying hard enough or thoughtful enough. Um, and so that's really
I
what's,
think that's all me.
oh no,
Yeah.
for sure. I think that's my story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I don't get upset often. And so, for me, it is that piece. I don't have any, doubt, even just, what happened earlier, in the day, just processing through my own, stuff and story, tired,
Yeah.
you know,
Therapy is exhausting, or it
hmm
can be.
can be. Um, yeah, contributing to that.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah. So I think it's a mixture. Yeah. But I think a lot of it's, that you don't see me. Yeah.
In those moments.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to work as hard as I can to be a good partner, and it's not going to be enough. Yeah.
All over a phone cord.
hmm
It's just so silly, the whole thing, but
But it's not.
well, I think there's more for me, and I touched
Mhm.
on it with you, but I want to talk about that. Are you
Yeah.
okay to
hmm
keep doing it? So you know how badly I've wanted a home,
hmm
right? And it goes back to childhood.
hmm
It's like when we do retreats, one of my favorite parts is I always say is coming in after the fire walk and
Yeah.
you've made cookies or brownies for everybody. And by then, everybody's been growing closer the first
hmm
2 nights, but
hmm
that event like
hmm
breaks the ice for sure.
hmm
And then everybody's talking about the experience, and then they're talking about, personal things, and they get out the coloring books and they're chit-chatting. And so I like to linger outside, making sure the fire's out. But also just love that part. And it's something that I've wanted since I was a kid. And I don't, there were times like at my grandmother's house, that sort of thing, but not at my home.
hmm
And so, um, and this is hard. And we've talked about it in different contexts. But what I told you the other day was, there's just, I, I don't get to be at your house all the time.
hmm
Right. Um, and, I was part of it for a while. We lived together, and then, um, one of your children and I don't get along. Right. It was hard. Um, it was hard in a lot of ways because they had really loved me.
hmm
And we'd done things together, that sort of stuff. And, a lot. Taught them to ride a bike. I taught them to swim. And I was able to get through to them, and then that had faded off. And part of it was my fault. Part of it is other circumstances. Um, But one of the things in moving in was I needed some, space because the other house you had was too small.
hmm
And I had a lot going on. My life was turned upside down. Daughter at that point was not happy with me. I was being blamed for my own divorce, and just very unsettled and alone. And I lived in shoot, I don't know. How many places have I lived in 6 years, 7 years? 6 or 7 different moves. So there's a lot of unsettledness around the home piece for me. And that's been even recent, me saying, I need a home. The Taurus in me is just like, you need a home. There's just a whole lot why a phone plug or phone charging cord could result in such a, such a reaction. And so, um, because we don't get along, I am excluded from some family things. And sometimes they are excluded from some family things if you've invited me. But normally, and this is your child. So I understand the choices that you have to make, even though you love me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make it less hurtful sometimes.
Mm.
But I felt like I had, I've come a long way in that process, worked
Yes.
really hard not to be reactive. I mean, there's still some reaction, but so much less.
Mm-hmm.
And thought that was, that I had been able to take most of the energy off that. But it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true is the fact. And so it's just like the one little constant over the last 2 years, because the schedule was always changing. It's like, well, it's going to be Friday to Monday. And then, well, no, it's going to be, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then it just kept changing. And, that took a lot of work on my part to just finally just say, okay, whatever. But it felt like having to live at somebody else's whim, and in a way it's true. But I feel like I've done a really good job of just understanding, listen, if I want to stay in relationship with this woman that I adore, then those are things that I need to learn to handle. Well, of course, that's what happened, and just let it go and not be so worked up, but to be grateful for the time that I get. But anyway, that little cord in the wall for 2 years was like, I don't know why that's such a big deal. And I hadn't thought about it, but I recognized afterwards why I cared so much, and then it's gone, and I thought your child had taken it at first, which was part of the trigger, right? Not having a safe space. So there's just all that, and I didn't even, I've been working on it today with my own therapist, right? And so a lot of that stuff came back up, and there was emotion around it still, like heavy, right in here. I could feel it in my heart, and it's just like we do so well together, and our energy's great. We do great work together. We do great projects together. We laugh a lot, you know, and I love you. But that part still hurts me.
Mhm.
And there's nothing really that you can do about it. And so I wanted to share that process with you, and also to just say that it's still there. It just feels like, we're so great in so many ways, but we're pulling this weight of that severed relationship, between me and your child.
Yeah.
And so we're lugging that along. And I had thought, well, it's, I don't know. I think part of it is sweeping that under the rug. Well, let's hope for the best, you know? And I don't, we haven't come up with a solution. So, in any event, and I don't know that there needs to be a solution. I mean, that was one of the things that I was working on with my therapist today, which is listen, remember, we're talking about recognizing emotions and allowing without jumping to a solution. But I think we have to be careful too, not to just sweep it under the rug in the allowing process. That's like you think you're headed down that road, but actually, it's like following the Google map. All of a sudden, you're on the wrong street. So I'm sorry if I'm hurting you in the process of telling my truth, but that's true.
Why do you think it hurts me?
It's just, I don't know if it's an assumption or it's an intuition.
Hmm.
I think a feeling of helplessness, probably.
I think I used to feel helpless.
How about I don't guess? You tell me.
I understand how complex we are. Your story, their story. And I don't mean the rupture, I mean the bigger context of our lives and relationship. And I think it's sad. I think that you're both missing out. I mean, I'm just telling you what I think. I think you're both stubborn. And I do. and and I'm hopeful for repair. I still believe that repair will happen. And I know there's nothing I can do about it, that's for sure. I know it's up to you and them. I know you're both really great people. And I understand the survival piece that came up for both of you. I'm really proud of the other kids for figuring out what they needed for themselves. Because I know for them it's a really tricky place because they love you and they love their sibling too. So the impact has been, significant. And there for sure used to be a lot of how can I fix this? But I don't think I have that energy as much as I believe you will repair. In what way, I don't know. When, I don't know. But, I know we've also recently, sorry, I need to blow my nose.
We're getting real now. As if we weren't already
right.
real.
Right. But there's also some big family events coming up that are, outside of just, a birthday or, Christmas or whatever. And we've got some big weddings coming up. One next month, and one next year.
Yeah, a
And
niece of yours that I really, really like.
yeah, yeah. And you'll both be there and you'll both figure it out.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. And that's what I mean.
Yeah,
That's sad. That's the choice that you're going to make.
yeah. And we'll talk about it.
Hmm. Because I've been clear.
Oh, I know.
Hmm.
I know that you said, well, it's just, you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard.
Yeah, I
And
just, I picture what that looks like.
Mhm.
And it looks like me sitting, half a room away somewhere by myself
Mm.
because they will want to be with you
Mm. Yeah.
and with all of your family. And I love your family. I enjoy being around them and visiting,
Mhm.
etc. But I see that.
Well, and to me, it doesn't have to be that,
Yeah.
what you picture in your head. It can be something else.
Yeah. What do you imagine?
I don't know. Talking to my niece and asking her.
Mm.
Because it's not that she doesn't know.
Mm.
So, but what I know is it's her day.
Yeah, and
And
no
nothing,
drama
and
from
no,
my side is going to
no,
interrupt
no,
that for
no,
sure.
and no drama from either side. No, I mean, the reality is, whether it's realistic or not, I just expect everybody to be an adult and figure it out and know it's going to be hard and uncomfortable and do it anyway because that's what we do. We don't have to. It's choice. It's just what my expectation is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, you had said it a few weeks ago, I think. It's just kind of an offhand way.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, yeah, I just swept it under the rug.
Mm. Yeah. I just try to be clear. I mean, you can choose what you want. And when I say that, I don't mean I'm giving you permission. I'm just saying choose what you want. That's just what my expectation is. So, but there's no consequence for that. There's no punishment. If you choose to not come, there's no punishment. I'll be sad, disappointed. But there isn't that other than my emotional experience. There is no threat. I don't need you to do anything. It's just I'm being clear about what I want. So, yeah. And you both have your own choice. But I think the whole thing is sad. But I also understand.
Yeah.
Relationship is complex.
Mhm.
Step families are complex. Always. It's hard to blend families without there being something that gets in the way.
True.
Yeah. And I didn't have that growing up, but I know you did.
Yeah. Each parent married 4 times.
Yeah. And you had a lot of half siblings. Did you have step siblings too, or just all half siblings? What?
I'm just trying to think that one through.
Oh, you did have step siblings, didn't you?
No, they're all half siblings, and
Oh,
other than my dad's last wife had a daughter, but we were both grown and out of the house, so it
oh,
wasn't an
okay.
issue.
There was,
Oh, I did actually. Yeah, my first stepfather, the one who killed himself in the front yard,
hmm.
he had 2 boys and a girl.
Right.
And the boys lived with us for a while.
Yeah.
I loved them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got in some trouble together as kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It was hard, I mean, he had mental illness, obviously.
Mhm.
Um,
I was
but I
thinking,
loved him.
yeah, I know you did.
Mhm.
I was thinking that maybe it was a half sibling, but I thought there was one of your stepmoms that, like, you guys, they had their own separate refrigerator or something where you guys couldn't eat food out of.
Those were my half siblings.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, I didn't have a really good experience with step parents.
Yeah.
It was pretty ugly, actually,
Yeah.
on both sides, really bad.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and so, it's been important to me to try to be as kind as I can, but I also recognize everything that I was going through,
Mhm.
needing, a safe space and, you know, kids not in my bed.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
And your child still needed that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so me trying to create safety for myself was threatening them,
Mhm.
to take their mom away,
Mm.
right?
It was threatening to them. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, to that one, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
others didn't need that anymore for the most
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had a lot going on in their, dad's life at the time
Right.
that was, you know, I would say creating even another layer of not feeling safe or not like, where's my place and all of this that's happening.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that impacted too, because
Mhm.
we had, thought, a really nice
Mhm. You did.
relationship.
You did. Yeah.
I was walkie talkie,
Yeah.
and I remember you looking at me one time saying, I think they like you better than they like me.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then it turned, it
Mhm.
changed. And there was like, it was early, puberty, teenage years coming on. I mean, there was a whole storm of events associated with it, not
Mhm.
just, you
Yeah.
know, I need a space where I can, the bedroom needs to
Mhm.
be our space.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that still created trauma.
Sure. And COVID. Yeah. 12
Yeah. And
years
then
old,
COVID on top of
COVID.
all the rest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, it hurts me,
Mhm.
um, that I wasn't able to be more sensitive and have a conversation, maybe work that out somehow better than I did. Um, but also that we had been so close and then
Yeah.
I was evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's but we've talked about it too. It's still the same. There's like you try to be, even if you're trying to be a really good um step parent or surrogate, whatever you want to call it, serve in that role, just love kids.
Mhm.
There's a loyalty piece
Mhm.
that um most of the time I think creates a barrier,
Mhm.
and your other kids, I love, love, love them.
Yeah.
And still like sometimes get hurt just because of
Mhm.
the loyalty piece. And I
Mhm.
think it's happened with you too, right? And my daughter,
Oh, sure. Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I get it,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
doesn't make it any easier. It just is.
Mhm.
I don't know how we reconcile it.
Yeah.
Time.
Time and effort. I mean, well, I think effort mostly. Keep doing our own work, keep trying to understand ourselves and others better. Time, emotional maturity. I mean, I think, perspective. I mean, we don't have a lot of perspective. I mean, I just think until our mid 20s, there's, you know, our brain, there are certain aspects of our brain that just don't all come together. And I'm not talking about, I think brain development ends at 25. I don't. I'm just saying that mid-20s, things start making more sense to us. So whatever that's about. Yeah. And so I remain hopeful.
Thanks for having the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and for sitting with it too.
Yeah.
It's important.
Mm.
It's important for me to practice just allowing it instead of trying to have the fix.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I don't want the fix.
Mm-hmm.
But I will try very hard to recognize that emotional reaction. If let's say there's some other thing that seems to be an anchor that I didn't realize was an anchor, right? Maybe it's the basket next to my side of the bed. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to try to keep you in mind, see you like you ask, and to say it better. I mean, if it irritates me or I don't like something, I need to be able to tell you that too. And that part, I think, is another piece for me to be working on, which is, female anchor and how I respond, can respond to it in a better way. But in any event, what I'm trying to say is I am sorry that I use the tone, and I'm sorry that I hurt you.
Thanks, babe. I'm sorry that we lost an evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that we're growing from it too, because it's important. I know it's important to me. I believe it's important to you that we have as healthy a relationship as we can. And this is how it happens. We just keep stepping in. So thanks for wanting to talk about it. Being brave. Again. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being brave too.
I love you.
Yeah, the anxiety that you felt, when I said, do you want to talk about that? It does take courage.
It does.
It's scary that, will this devolve into more of the same? Will the other person abandon me? Those things, I mean, that is not on the top of but it could have been.
Oh, sure. It would have been in the past.
Yeah. 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And 5 years ago, I'd have kept going with my wet laundry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Thank you again.
Well, I'm glad I stayed, but man, it was hard.
Yeah, but it's so good because that's how we break our patterns. We give our body a different experience, right?
Well, I can tell you that I never ran before. I would just disappear. And so that's something new in our relationship. I mean, it's not new to our relationship, but it's new for me in relationship.
Sure. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I think you can go.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably a whole other episode. All right. And that's all I can do tonight. I love you.
I love you too, babe.
We are so excited about sharing with you our new retreat, Becoming Unshakable from Self-Doubt to Daring.
Yeah. We love doing retreats. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We really enjoy that group in-person process. Everything that Walker and I create is something that we do with a lot of intention. Every retreat we do is a new retreat. We don't repeat retreats. And so it's always an adventure for us in creating the next one based off where he and I are and our own personal growth journey.
Yeah. We look forward to holding space for you.
Yeah, we hope you'll consider joining us. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to explore life with you. We encourage curiosity, self-growth, and we strive to be more compassionate every day.